Okay, so this is Beverly. Hi, Beverly. She's
Hi.
going to be, she grew up as a missionary's kid in a remote tribe in Mexico, so she's going to be answering the questions from that kind of cultural perspective as closely as she can. So, um, we're just going to do a few questions here,
Okay.
not all the ones that I will eventually be asking of you, but
Okay.
here we go. First off, what is your favorite part of the day? If you could just kind of describe that a little bit, what that looks like.
Well, probably when my husband comes home from working in the fields and my children come home from the government school nearby, and then we sit in our little hut and we have our tortillas and beans and rice together and talk about our day.
Okay. Um, what would you say is your most important accomplishment in a day or a week's time?
Accomplishment. Well, I would think it would be the time that I've been caring for and taking care of. Like, my mother's pretty sick, so I go
Mm.
down to see her,
Mm-hmm.
and that's more important to me than, you know, things that, like, you know, finishing up a WIPIL, I'm making the dresses that we wear.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do work on that, but, and make the clothing for myself and my
Mm-hmm.
daughters. And so that's more important to me than in that I'm ministering to her needs
Mm-hmm.
and taking care of her.
Mm-hmm. Wow, good answer. And lastly, like I said, we're only going to be asking a few questions today. Lastly, what would you say your most prized possession is?
We don't have a lot of possessions.
Okay.
We do live in a grass thatched hut, with a
Mm-hmm.
dirt floor. But I think probably my most prized possession would be um, the Bible that I got from the missionary family.
Mm-hmm.
We are Christians, and we're so happy that they came to our country because now I know the Lord, and they have the Word of God is now in our own language,
Hmm.
and so now we have I and I I'm learning how to read it too. My husband's teaching me,
Hmm.
and that makes me really happy because before that we didn't. So that's my main prized possession. I
Mm-hmm.
don't really have much else. I bet my husband would say that Bible's important, but he got a radio and he
Mm-hmm.
thinks that's great. But really, when I think about how we spend our money, like we tend to think like, okay, we have uh, celebrations are more important to us than
Okay.
maybe getting a bunch of things,
Mm-hmm.
like possessions, because we would rather spend the money on celebrating our daughter's 16th birthday, her coming out party kind of thing,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
than to have like, um, well, we now finally we can get cell phones in this area, but
Oh
way back
wow.
we couldn't. But we're
Mm-hmm.
not doing that because
Okay.
we don't think that's an important way to spend money.
Okay. So well, obviously, I would ask more probing questions if those weren't all the questions that I had to ask for this time. So, um, here's my dog.
Oh yeah.
So, um, yeah, because there's a lot of cultural differences, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
cultural ways that what we would call artifacts, the outward appearance, the way you dress, the way you have your house, and even like maybe how you have the community organized as far as how the houses are in relation to each other and stuff. That's
Mm-hmm.
different than what I would be used to here in America. But
Mm-hmm.
so I'd love to ask you follow up questions about those types of things as well when we get the chance.
Okay.